Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Kamil Imtiaz. I'm the co-founder of Buraaq, the animated series. If you're wondering who Buraaq is, this is a superhero that we launched almost 10 years ago. And you might be wondering, how come you never heard of it? Well, today I'm going to talk about our journey. Today I'm going to talk about what are the pitfalls, what to look for, how to jumpstart your idea. It's a struggle for everybody. I know most of us hear about the successes. We hear about, oh, this got viral or how this got so big. But most of the content creators like you and me who have full-time jobs and trying to pursue their passion, it takes time to build, to learn. And today, my hope is to share some of those experiences with you and help you, look into how to build an audience for your animation on YouTube. And really, how can we jumpstart, your journey to it? This could be the jumpstart guide to getting seen and growing. So let's get started. It's a quick presentation that's going to walk you through a few slides. But at the end of the day, my goal is that you learn something from it. And I'm going to be posting more videos because what I found is when I look out on the internet, I don't find a lot of information that could have helped me if I was starting this journey. And we continue to evolve, right? And we want you to be part of that journey. So let's get started. It starts with an awesome idea, right? We're sitting there, you think about an idea, oh, maybe I can build an animation. You see something on Netflix or on YouTube and it's gone viral. It's like, you know what, I can maybe do this, right? But it's a different ball game altogether. Maybe it's a series you're thinking about, or in our case, it's more fate-based, right? So I see a lot of trends now happening in the animation arena where you see like Angel Studios and some other studios coming in, and they're getting some success because they've been building it for a while. But it's not easy, especially when you're going against the mainstream, where they're not looking at faith-based, they're not looking at these niche ideas, because at the end of the day, they don't get you money, right? And you want to do something that's close to your heart. But the question always remains there, how do you get people to watch it? That's the number one question. In this session, when I'm going to walk you through it, when we talk about building the audience, this is where we're going to end up. So what is the big problem? So we got to be real, right? Breaking into animation world, especially in the indie environment, is tough. Studios are overwhelmed with scripts and pitches. Now, if you look at it, I mean, some of the stats that I found is 50,000 scripts submitted to studios yearly. Now, imagine how many scripts are going through their desk. They're looking at these scripts, they're analyzing these scripts. And most of the scripts that we see for animated series, these are deals that go into sequels and reboots. So maybe things like Pixar or Disney, on and on, they're introducing these series and it keeps going on and on. And this becomes a problem, right? Because what does that mean for us? Are we stuck? Do we don't have any hope? Why do good animation gets overlooked? Because at the bottom of it, if you look at it, they're running a business, right? So at like any other business, you want to look at your greatest return on investment. You want to look at things like, okay, if I produce this movie, because when you're producing a movie or you're producing a series, it involves a lot of effort. You got people, you got technology, you got all these processes, and it's a costly endeavor for all these studios. So they're going to look for the most bang for the buck. Now, if you look around and see where the media trends are going, if you're introducing a faith-based or a unique stories, you think that's going to get up on their radar? Probably not. Is it going to get them a lot of money? Probably not. But if they follow the trends and they have following certain teams, maybe they get more and more returns on their investment. So that's why most of the indies and niche creators are often ignored. I mean, that's the reality, and that's the problem. If you have an idea, you're looking for something to produce, and you have this passion about this, maybe it's a cause, maybe it's a purpose, maybe it's faith-based, or maybe it's something else that you're really passionate about, and you want to create something, just be mindful that these animation studios, if you think about big studios, they are overwhelmed, right? 50,000 scripts submitted to studios submitted to studios every year. What are your chances? So something to keep in mind, right, when you're doing that. But, what we say here, do you want to lose hope? Right? So we are all on YouTube, and there's an advantage to YouTube. Why do we feel that YouTube is really changing the game? Now, if you look at it, YouTube is probably the most watched streaming platform on the planet. You might think Netflix is there or Hulu is there, but no, it's actually YouTube. Even myself, most of the time I'm spending at YouTube, right? Because I get all the content that I need. If it's educational, entertainment, whatever you need is available on YouTube. 2.5 billion monthly users. I mean, that's a lot of users every day. And there's no gatekeepers. You own your work, right? You build, you produce whatever your niche is, whatever your passion is. You build something and you upload it. There is no barriers, there's no red tape. You don't have to go through any processes to get that done. And then if you get to that level, there is an opportunity to earn from ads, merchandise, and membership. So when you get there, that's a long journey itself. So a lot of times what happens is we feel like we're going to upload a video right away and we're going to start getting views and we're going to start making money in 2 months. That's not the case. It's a long journey and you have to be passionate and consistent in order to make that happen. But the good thing is you have direct audience feedback. You post something, if it gets to your niche audience or your target market, you're going to get the feedback right away. How's your video doing? Is anybody watching it? That equals to fast growth. So that's why we feel that people like us who have been in this niche area and have been producing for a long time and we're pivoting, for us, it's been a roller coaster because sometimes you get to a high, we're like, oh my God, something good is going to happen. And then it disappears. And then we re-strategize and come up again. So it's a continuous journey, but the key is to be committed and consistent. And YouTube is, you have an unfair advantage to bypass all the red tape to really get to your audience, and then you can build that leverage. So there are some real wins. So it's not like we haven't seen anything like that. But if you really look at if you looked at Netflix, you have Oddballs, you have Cocomelon, and you have Digital Circus. They all started from YouTube, right? So there are stories that you see that studios, when they see that concept or that idea is catching on, then you have an opportunity to work with the big studios. But before that actually happens, you got to build that leverage. You got to build that audience. You got to find that audience and build it. Because what typically happens is, okay, you build a nice script, you build a nice story, you build a whole pitch deck for your story or series or movie, whatever that is, and then you send it to all these studios. What do you think is going to happen? We talked about the big problem. You're just part of the pile. It's not going to happen. But if you start with YouTube and you start building that content, maybe it takes 6 months, maybe it takes a year, but you're consistent and you grow your audience, what happens? People start paying attention. And this is what really happened with all these different examples and use cases that you're seeing here, like Oddballs and Cocomelon. I mean, you know these names, but they all started at YouTube. So there is hope, but the key is consistency. So you might be asking, okay, great, I get it, but where do I start? What do I do? But now we live in a day and age of AI, and it has completely changed the game. So you literally, the only thing that's stopping you is yourself. Because there's so many tools available out there so that can help you develop that concept and character. Even if you have this itch in your head and you're thinking about this idea, just go to ChatGPT and put that in there saying, I'm thinking about this idea, I'm thinking about that. What do you think this market is? Do you think there's a lot of other series like this or characters like this? If they are, show me. If they're similar, how can I be different? So you have all these tools in your fingertips to craft and develop your concept and characters. Choose the animation style. You want to do 2D or you want to do Pixar type 3D or motion animation, because every style that you pick, there's a cost associated with it. Every style that you pick it could impact how you plan for it. And then make a storyboard. And this could be, we're not asking you to create a 2-hour Marvel Studio movie. It could be a 2-minute video. Just get into the habit of creating that storyboard. Like, how do you create the storyboard? This is the character, they walk in, and there are tools available that will help you create the storyboard as well. And use AI tool. That's your best friend right now, is AI tools. It's cost effective. There's a lot of videos on YouTube. You can go search, AI, and I'll create another video on just AI tools because I started using it almost 6 months ago and it's completely blown my mind. And it really, it feels like that Hollywood is, it's a crossroads because it's going to completely disrupt this industry. And it's a separate video. I'll talk you through it, and it's very fascinating what's happening in this world. But use AI. It's your friend. This is something that you should be experts on. And this is what we're doing at Buraaq. Is you start seeing our shorts. You're going to see a lot of shorts coming in AI and all that cool stuff. Start with a teaser. Build a teaser. 30 seconds. That's all you need. Maybe, but the thing is well thought through. You have the concept, you have the character, and you have a 30 seconds kind of a mind of a teaser. And there's no harm. It's free to upload on YouTube. Just see how it works. Maybe it bombs, maybe it fails. But what we say here is if you fail, but fail fast so that you can learn and keep doing it. Maybe it takes you a month, maybe it takes 10 years, doesn't matter. But if you have a passion and an idea, continue doing it. And if I want to give you kind of a high level, what we've been through, if you're budgeting and cost, if you try to look at the style that you want to go with, 2D animation is probably the cheapest, but not really. But if you look at the cost, 2D animation costs about 8,000 to 25,000 per minute. This is not the whole project or the whole series. This is per minute. Sure, you can go and outsource it, go to maybe some international studios, and you can get it down to maybe 2,000 per minute or 3,000, but you're gonna sacrifice quality with it. So 2D animation, 8,000 to 25,000, depending on how detailed and how, if you want to go through like Spider-Verse and Spider-Man type animation, of course, it's going to cost more. The more the quality, the more the cost. 3D animation, even though it's the most popular one, Disney has completely disrupted this industry with Pixar. And now you have all these DreamWorks coming out with animation and Disney itself coming out with animation. I mean, these folks have completely, risen the bar. I mean, they are the top notch in this industry. And that's the most costly animation is 3D animation. $10,000 per minute. I would say that's bare minimum if you want Pixar type quality. Sure, you can go outsource it and reduce the quality. The more you reduce it, the max you can get down to is probably 5,000 a minute. So if you're thinking about it now, okay, that's a lot of money. I have no money. How do I start? I can't even get into that space. But there's a lot of open source tools. There are things like free Blender animation tool. And like I mentioned, AI, just use AI. And I'm going to do a video on it, just telling you how to use it and how you can maximize it and budget wise and all that cool stuff. But animation is expensive, it's costly, it takes a lot of time. You got to do all these different rendering costs and all that cool stuff. But the end product, if it's good, it's good. And then you have stop animation and motion graphics. And these are, I think they are more of a dying industry. You don't really see a lot of stop animation, stop motion movies coming out, motion graphics, and all those cool things that you can do on the existing video. That's always cheaper. But if you're going through animation, which we are going through in Buraaq's standpoint, and there's some videos that we've done podcasts about it, it's costly. And our experiences have been up and down. But yes, so this is the tool in budgeting. This is kind of a ballpark of what you should look at. And this is very hard to find on the internet because people don't really talk about it. But this is kind of gives you a guideline. And if you want, you can leave in a comment. I can go really deep into all these areas. Now, what do I do? Okay, you told me it costs a lot of money. I have no experience in it. What do I do? How do I start? AI, like I mentioned, is one. Number two, you can outsource this. There are sources like the Upwork, Fiverr, or Freelance. You can get these help from those people. It could be, especially remember when I talked about that 30-second, 60-second teaser that you want to build. If you have that budget, what I say around, keep a budget to start around $5,000. I know it sounds a lot, but this is a whole year budget. If you keep that budget, obviously you can do less than that if you want. But a starting point, keep a goal in mind. 5,000 is a budget, but use any free available tools as possible to remain within that budget or even not even utilize the whole budget. But use things like Upwork or freelance to do some work for you. I mean, they cost about, $100 to $300 a minute. Sometimes you can even get $60 per minute, and they can do this concept arts for you, and they can create the whole character for you. And I'll then show you how you can use that character that's been built and put it on the AI tool, and it will animate for you. Amazing, right? AI is your friend. There's also some studios out there. You can go to Latin America, you can go to Eastern Europe, even India and Pakistan. They're all doing these animations for you, and they do it in a pretty cost-effective way. But you sacrifice professionalism, and there's no guarantee that your work will be done on time. So there's a risk there. But my advice will be use the tools like Blender, Canva, or any AI tools available to just get started. You don't know how to do animation, it's okay. All you need is a good idea and passion and consistency to get things done. So another key thing is be consistent. Set, and then I am probably guilty of it too, because I have a full-time job, and this is what we do at our free time. And we try to, it's more of a mission base, and we have a purpose behind Buraaq, but we got to have that release schedule. You can play around with the schedule. It's okay. You can post 3 times a day, or you can post 2 times a week. You test out your leverage, right? You test out your capability, what's working for you, what's not working. But once you start seeing a trend, then create a schedule. There are a lot of tools out there that you can use that can actually help you build those schedules. And if you have a big release, or I would say a big episode that's coming, and it takes time for you to develop it and produce it and publish it, there is a gap. So what do you do? And we call it air cover. How can you do air cover? Build those shorts, build those bite-sized content in between that kind of fills the gaps till the anchor or your main product comes in. Use content calendar. You can use Google. Anything's available for you that's there. Just start being consistent. For example, every day I'm going to post one short, right? Every week I'm going to build a big episode. It's up to you, whatever you want to build. But it's also important to engage with comments. I mean, first you're going to put a video out there, you're going to have no views, you can have no comments, and you're going to get discouraged. But that's the key. Don't get discouraged, right? We've been doing it for a long time. You can go to our channel, you can see our videos. Some have a lot of views, some have no views. We tried ad campaigns and all the cool stuff, but you got to be consistent. Keep doing it, keep innovating, keep putting stuff in there, and engage with the comments. Even if it's just as one comment saying, "Oh, I like it," thumbs up or a heart, just comment below it. Say thank you very much. Continue supporting us, because that adds up in the YouTube algorithm. And what happens is, instead of looking at it like you have 3 comments, all of a sudden, if you reply to all of them, it becomes 6 comments. So these are the small tips that you can use to help you build that channel. So at the end of it, I wanted to keep it short, kind of give you an introduction to it. And I'm going to start this series. Just leave some comments if you like it. I can also deep dive into certain areas. But my call to action for you is to, subscribe to our channel, like what you see. Please drop a comment if you like this video or not, and share your animation dream. Like, what are your ideas? As a smaller community, if you're thinking about a fate-based, or you're thinking about some purpose-based animation stories that you want to bring to the table or come to the market with, I'd love to hear it, so we can collaborate, we can learn and get inspired. And I'm really, really glad that I'm seeing more and more faith-based content now out there. Angel Studio is doing an amazing job. You can see their new movie coming out in April, and other content coming up. So I feel this is the year, or this is the trend that I'm seeing. Hopefully it continues. So from my perspective, what I like to say is, like, you don't need permission. You just need passion, persistence, and a plan. And we're all guilty of it, right? You have other stuff and things to do, but if you have passion and you really believe in what you're doing, you can start now, you can grow fast, and really own your story. So with that, I'd like to thank you taking this time to watch this video. Hopefully this will be helpful. You can go to our website, you can go to our YouTube, check out the comments below, and I'll hope to see you again. Thank you. I hope to see you soon.